Ms. Brown, you're here today suing your mother for $2,200 for emotional distress. You say she's caused you by not knowing who your biological father is.
Yes,
now, the
Your Honor.
court has located one possible father and must determine if there is enough evidence to order a paternity test. Ms. Brown Overstreet, you admit to making mistakes as a mother, but claim you shouldn't be held accountable in court for your daughter's pain.
Yes, Your Honor.
You hope there's enough evidence presented today to prove that the man in court today is your daughter's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Brown, how does it feel to be suing your mother?
Not as bad as it felt growing up.
Okay.
Like,
we want the truth in this courtroom.
my mom she wasn't there as much as she should have been there. I asked her on several occasions, do you know who my father could be? My mama just said, I don't know, I don't know. Every time I asked, it was, I don't know, I don't know. She gave me, actually, I have a list of men. It's about 6 or 7 guys.
67?
About 6 or 7.
I said, wait a minute now. Okay, Jerome, please hand me this list. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So she gave you 6 or 7 names
Yes, Your Honor.
of possible fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are they ranked in order of probability?
No, ma'am, they're not, Your Honor. One of them, we had to do a DNA test, and it turned out he wasn't my father.
And is he listed on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one is he?
He's the first one?
The man in the Navy.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not the father, proven by a DNA test.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the man Clifton Smith, who's in our court today, has not been tested yet.
No, Your Honor. I never knew who could be my father. I didn't know who he could be. I didn't know who he was. I was in and out of foster care on 3 different occasions. Foster care wasn't so good. You know, I had 4 brothers and a sister. I didn't know where they were. They got split up too. My grandmother got us back. She got sick. I missed 3 months of school, got kicked out. I was in alternative school. I got kicked out because my grandma got sick and I had to take care of her.
And so what level of school did you finish, hon?
9th grade.
You went to the 9th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you had to take care of your grandmother.
Yes, ma'am, and take care of my brothers.
Miss Brown Overstreet, how does it feel to hear your daughter speak with such pain in her heart? I mean, it's difficult to even say to another mother, but that your daughter blames you.
I feel like my daughter hates me because of the fact that I wasn't always there, and I didn't have a handbook on how to be a parent. I had my kids young, and it was 6, I have 6 of them, so it wasn't like it was just one child. I had a hard time trying to be a mother. I didn't know how to raise my kids, and when I lost custody of them, I tried my best to get them back, and I kind of gave up on myself. I can admit that I was young and I was wild, and I was kind of promiscuous, so I did not know who her father was.
Did you approach any of those men and say, I'm pregnant and I think you're the father, or you just left them all alone?
I just left them all alone.
So, Miss Brown, please tell the court, what was life like without a father, growing up without a father in your life?
Your Honor, it was hard. I mean, I can barely sit up and describe how hard my life has been. Not only without a father, without my mom. I remember I was about 6 or 7. I had my oldest brother. He was about 3 years older than me. He taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me how to tie my shoe, how to spell. He taught me basically everything I know. And I admit she did a little of some of what she was supposed to, but I guess she felt that giving me money would erase all the past memories that I had because of her. She used to give me money all the time. Money don't pay for, money is not gonna pay for what I went through. I was tormented as a child.
How, you say you were tormented?
Tormented.
Living without your father?
Yes, Your Honor.
And your mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say she's caused you extreme emotional distress.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell your mother how you feel.
I feel like it's a possibility that my life could have been better if I knew who my dad was. And maybe he could have saved me from everything that happened. And maybe I wouldn't have never went to foster care.
I'm sorry. I never
if he
meant,
had been in my life.
I never meant for that to happen to you, though. But I gave up on myself, so I didn't even know what she was going through.
But when you have kids, sometimes you have to give up on yourself to do for your children.
I understand that. I'm sorry.
Did you hear your mother say she was sorry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe that she is?
Somewhat I do.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, when you heard about Mr. Smith,
Yes, Your Honor.
take me to that day when you found out about him.
Your Honor, I was working at my hometown, and this guy just show up, and he was like staring at me. I'm like, who is this guy? When I went and got my manager, that's when he tells me, oh, hey, I'm your dad. You're my daughter. Mm-hmm. So I asked my mom when I get off work, I say, it's this guy that came up to my job, Mr. Smith. I told her his name. She said, oh yeah, that might be, it's a possibility that he's your dad. Now, I'm 18 now, I'm grown. Out of all these years, why is he trying to come into my life now? Why are you just now telling me that it's a possibility that he could be my father?
So, were you angry with your mother that she hadn't ever mentioned Mr. Smith's name? Or were you angry with Mr. Smith for trying to come and find you after all these years? Or both?
I was mad with both of them.
Well, he's here today. I'd like to hear from him. Jerome, please escort Mr. Smith into the courtroom. Hello, Mr. Smith.
How you doing?
Thank you for joining us today. Please, tell the court about the first day you met Ms. Brown.
We go back a long time. So when I called her, she was like that she was trying to find the father of our daughter. I said, wouldn't it be funny if I was the father? And she was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about you. I'm like, you forgot all about me. Then I was adding up the days. If I have a child out there, I want to know. So when I pulled up, I get out the car and my cousin pointed her out. So I was looking at her. And so she came up and I said something to her first. And she was smiling at me like I was trying to flirt with her or something. So I'm like, oh, whoa, hold up here. I might be your father. You busy trying to flirt with me.
Right.
You know, cut it out right there. So as soon as I told that, her expression just changed. I mean, the smile just wiped off her face. Now I'm getting daggers thrown at me. Now I told her I'm going to see her tonight, that this ain't over.
And you are hopeful. You truly are hopeful.
I love her already.
Oh.
You know, it's my big knucklehead. I want her in my life, and I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but it wasn't my fault, you know? And I was listening to what she was saying, what she went through, and it bothered me because I wasn't the father to take care of her, to do what I needed to do. So that bothers me a lot, you know? She's my child. I should have been there. No child should be without their parent, you know? And it bothers me. You know? It was a fling when I got with her that summer. And she had a boyfriend at the time, you know. We got together, it was more than once. And I went back home for the summer. I came back for the winter vacation. And I saw her, and I'm like, wow, you look a little fat there. She says to me, I ain't fat, I'm pregnant. Next thing came out of my mouth, well, who's the father? She said, don't worry about it, it ain't you.
So she told you it was not you.
So that's why I didn't think nothing of it no more. You know, I really didn't. Because like I said, I tried to stand up right then and there. I did what I did, and I had to just be a man about the whole thing and take care of my responsibilities. And that's why I'm here. You know, take care of what's mine, that's all.
Good, that's good to hear. You stated in your court papers, though, that you have reason to have doubt. Oh. And you just stated in court today that she had a boyfriend during the time you slept with her.
Oh, yes. Okay, my reason is when I was 10 years old, I hurt myself really bad. I got the picture evidence to show you. Hurt myself really bad.
What happened?
Well, you know what a folding couch is? A couch that turned into a bed?
Yes.
Well, I was folding it back into a couch. My underwear got hooked on a spring, and I yanked it, but it went in a lot more of my underwear and just ripped everything open.
Oh, goodness.
Let
me see that evidence, Jerome.
I didn't remember him. That was the problem. It was horrible, so I didn't remember even having sex with him. So it wasn't my fault that I didn't remember. He probably remembered it, but I didn't remember it.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
This is a photo of your genitalia.
Oh, God, Your Honor. Your Honor.
I know that's funny.
And your concern is that you're unable to have children because of this injury.
Well, the doctor told me when I get old, I might not be able to.
So you were told by a medical professional you may not be able to have
they
children.
Said may not 100%. May not. It's not 100%
May.
to me. Exactly.
What we need to do is to determine whether or not a paternity test needs to be ordered in light of this evidence regarding your injury. So the court has asked a medical expert to come and share some light on this. Jerome, will you please escort Dr. Gator into the courtroom? Dr. Gator is from the Rise Men's Medical Clinic.
Up on the witness stand.
And she's a board-certified family medical physician. Hi, Dr. Gator. Thank you so much for being with us. So, you've reviewed the evidence in this case.
Yes.
Mr. Smith contends that he had a serious injury and the doctor told him he may not be able to have children because of this. We are trying to determine whether it's even appropriate to order a DNA test. Can you shed light on the likelihood and the injury?
I believe I can. It's absolutely possible, in my opinion, for Mr. Smith or someone with a testicular injury such as him to father a child. Nature often gives us two of what's important. And here's why. On average, a man releases anywhere between 50 million and 1 billion sperm at a time. So if one testicle isn't functioning, you can cut that number in half to say 25 million. Fertility doesn't become an issue until that number drops below 10 million. So based on the numbers, it's definitely possible for someone with a testicular injury to still father a child as long as the swimmers are normal and healthy.
All right. So, in this case, you therefore could potentially be Ms. Brown's father. And for this reason, the court is going to order a DNA test and order you to submit to that test so we can get this young woman the answers she deserves. Jerome, please escort them out of the courtroom. You're going to head to the lab immediately. Court is adjourned. I'll see you back here. We're back in session in the case of Brown versus Brown Overstreet. Welcome back, everyone. So you've submitted to the DNA testing, am I correct?
Yes.
Then I have the results here for you today. Before I get to those results, I have to ask you what your hopes are for today. Ms. Brown?
I hope that when I leave here, I have answers to what I have been trying to find answers to my whole life. I also hope that I can get back into a GED program or any kind of program to help me get my diploma or either my GED. And I also hope to get a better communication, you know, between me and my mom.
All right. Jerome, the results, please. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
Your Honor, could I hold a hand? Could I go hold
Absolutely.
Her? Thank you. Come on, Your Honor.
In the case of Brown versus Brown Overstreet, when it comes to 22-year-old Shantia Brown, it has been determined by this court. When it comes to 22-year-old Shantia Brown, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are not Shantia's father. I'm sorry. Ms. Brown, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
How about you, Mr. Smith? I know you had hopes.
So I still love her. It's cool. She's still my baby, right? You know I love you.
It's difficult sometimes when you want to give people the result they want to hear. That would seem to wipe away all the pain of the past and everything that they've been through. And yet I'm unable to do so because the truth is absolute. It's what it is. Ms. Brown, as hurt as I know you are, and as hurt as I know you've been, I don't see any intention on the part of your mother to cause you emotional distress, nor have you proven to the court that you've suffered any real physical damage because of this. I truly believe she may not, in fact, know who your father is. And for that reason, I have to deny your claim. Ms. Browning, you and your grandmother have believed the defendant to be your biological father. You say that you are tired of his uncertainty and denial and hope that when today's results reveal the truth, it will strengthen your father-daughter relationship and begin the healing process. Mr. Browning, you state you are Ms. Browning's legal father because you were married to her mother during the time of conception. However, you were no longer in an intimate relationship with her mother, and therefore, it is impossible for you to be her biological father. So, Ms. Browning, why are you here today?
I'm here to prove that Charles is my biological father.
And you're here with your grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
Which happens to be Mr. Browning's mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Browning, you're here to support Tiffany, Ms. Browning.
Yes, I'm here to support.
Because you believe your son is her biological father.
I know my son is her biological father.
So, Mr. Browning,
Yes, Your
it's
Honor.
your assertion you're the legal father only.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain that to the court, please.
Your Honor, I'm the legal father of Tiffany, Your Honor, because at the time of Tiffany's conception with her mother, Your Honor, I was still married to the mother, but I'm not biologically the father. I believe the father is another man. I heard he was a drifter. Your Honor, what does it matter, Your Honor? What does it matter? I raised her. I took her to school. I went to the ball games with her. I went to her graduation. What does it matter, Your Honor? I married Rose, the mother. I had 2 girls by her. And then we separated. And Your Honor, I had nothing to do with her, didn't touch her, anything to do with her for like 6 months, Your Honor.
And during that window of separation, it was brought to your attention or you came to know that her mother had been intimate with other people?
The mother never told me she was pregnant. Your Honor, only way I found out the mother was pregnant, Your Honor, was I went to pick up the other 2 girls. And I saw the mother was showing that she was pregnant. And that's how I knew she was pregnant. I didn't ask her anything because it wasn't none of my business.
Oh, so let me find out from your mother what she knew. Ms. Browning, I see you looking at your son like, what in the world you talking about?
I know he is the father of Tiffany because he and Rose lived in my house. And I saw them having sex.
That is not true.
So you knew they were intimate during that time?
Yes.
Not true,
I
not true.
saw them more than once.
Not
in the
true.
attic, and
Not
I
true.
saw them more than once.
Your
On
Honor,
the first floor in my living room.
That is
the door
not true.
was wide open.
that is not true.
Now,
Your
what in the
Honor,
world?
I agree with my mother. With the other 2 girls, I lived with Rose with my mother. But with Tiffany, Your Honor, I was separated from the mother. I was living with another woman.
Oh, no, you were living in my house. You were living in my house.
See.
You and Rose. I have seen them.
Your Honor, that is not true. Your Honor, at the custody hearing, the mother said that I never touched her. I was nowhere near her. She said there was another man. She said he was a drifter.
So she admitted in a previous court proceeding, you were not the biological father and that this other man she met during the separation was.
But I was there. I was there in court. I never heard Rose say that.
That's not true.
That's a lie, Greg.
She said it. And Your Honor, my name is not on the birth certificate, Your Honor. She never filed child support, Your Honor, because she never felt I was her father.
And so, Tiffany, I wanted to ask you, when was the first time that you heard that Mr. Browning, the man you believe was your father, may not be your biological father?
When I was 12.
When you were 12?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, it came up in a family argument. They were arguing, and I heard that he may not be a possibility. I heard I was a one-night stand. Yeah, I was upset after that. It wasn't, they said I was supposed to learn when I got of age.
But you were 12.
Yes.
And
And all of my life, I believed that he was my father, that the girls and I had the same father.
And you're 12 years old.
Yes.
Did you even know what a one-night stand was?
No.
You didn't know what they were talking about?
No.
Did you ask somebody? Did you question somebody?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I asked my grandmother what was going on because I was so confused. And she told me that it may be a possibility it could be someone else. They didn't.
No, I didn't say that.
Your Honor,
I asked
say that?
around. I asked
Your
around.
Honor, she never accepted me.
I have never said that. I actually saw many times they lived in my house 7 days a week.
How does your son's denial make you feel? You say you know. How does it make you feel to hear him deny Tiffany?
It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel sad. And it's not for me, it's for her.
Right.
Not-
Do you remember, Ms. Browning, Tiffany's mother being pregnant?
Yeah, I talk to her all the time. Rose always talked to me. She treat me like I'm her mother.
But Your Honor, she never told me was pregnant. So if she was pregnant, if she felt it was my baby, Your Honor, she would have told me she was pregnant.
All right. I want to hear from your witness. Please stand, ma'am. Step over to the podium. State your name for the court.
Alexis Jones.
Ms. Jones, you are what relationship to Mr. Browning?
This is my father.
That's your father.
Correct.
All right. So, Alexis, I want to understand from you, you have the same mother as Tiffany.
Correct, yes.
What did your mother tell you, or did she tell you anything about the paternity of your sister? Was there a different father? What did you know?
Your Honor, I remember recalling being about 8 years old, and my mom came to me and told me that my mom and my dad were getting a divorce, and they were gonna separate. Maybe shortly after that, a few months later, my mom introduced me to a gentleman that she was dating. And I met him maybe about 2 or 3 more occasions after that. Shortly after that, my mom became pregnant with my sister. She told me to my face that that my little sister's father was not my father. It was the gentleman that she was dating. She told me that she told him that she was pregnant, and he did not want to be a dad to my little sister.
So, Tiffany, as you listen to this testimony, as you listen to your sister and the man you have known as your father your whole life, what are you thinking? Are you thinking now that maybe there was another man?
I don't know. Possibility. I'm really hurt by that.
Look, I think Alexis is confused. Rose never told me that. I think someone else told you that.
My mother, my biological mother, told me that. That's something that cannot be refuted. That's facts.
She didn't tell me.
But she told me.
She didn't tell Alexis that. Someone else had to tell Alexis that. She never mentioned that.
No, Ma.
She
No.
tells me everything.
Grandma,
I
no.
talk to Rose
No.
daily.
No.
I talk to Rose more than I do my own son, more than I do Alexis.
Your Honor,
I talk to Rose sometimes 3 times a day.
Your Honor, I'd like to take a minute to look at the picture right there.
Yes.
I feel like we favor in that picture right there.
You and Mr. Browning.
Yes.
And you say you see a resemblance.
Yes.
I see a resemblance too
I
in
do
that
too.
photo. I will have to say, I've never thought my sister and I look alike. I see myself in my dad. I can see characteristics and traits, our nose and our complexion. But I will say on that picture that they do favor. They do.
They do.
Your Honor,
They really do.
So, Ms. Browning, you also have medical evidence that you say proves that Mr. Browning is your biological father.
Yes.
You submitted a chart to the court. Walk through this with me.
Yes.
You say you have asthma,
Yes.
and Mr. Browning, the man you believe is your father, has asthma as well.
He had asthma.
You say you have type 1 diabetes.
Yes, he has diabetes.
Is that true, Mr. Browning?
yes, Your Honor.
Next, you say you have a shellfish allergy.
Yes.
Does Mr. Browning have a shellfish? Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this just a coincidence? I wanted to get more information on this because when we talk DNA, we talk biology and whether or not it is connected in any way to paternity. So Jerome, can you please escort Dr. Samantha Brown Parks into the courtroom? I want to ask her some questions.
Hello, doctor. Have you go right up to the witness stand next to the judge. Careful going up the steps.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Your Honor.
Dr. Brown Parks, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First, I want to ask you, Dr. Brown Parks, how does asthma develop?
So asthma is a constrictive airway disease. And when we're talking about the father with asthma, the chances of having a child diagnosed with asthma also in a father who has it is 2.5 to 3 times, depending on the age of diagnosis.
Interesting. So now, what about diabetes?
So diabetes also has a 3-fold increase in the offspring having diabetes if the parent does.
All right. What about a shellfish allergy?
When you review all the reports, it looks like it's double to have a parent with a shellfish allergy to have a child or an offspring with that allergy.
Fascinating.
Indeed.
With the fact that a child has more than one condition that one of the parents had, does that create a bigger probability?
It is not absolute, but the chances of having a father with the 3 diseases and having an offspring in question with the same 3 diseases increases the likelihood of that father being her father.
This is fascinating. So, Ms. Browning, have you prepared yourself? Either way, have you thought about what if Mr. Browning is not your biological father and those rumors you heard at 12 years old is true? What are you feeling?
I'm a little emotional.
And why do you feel emotional, honey?
Because it may not turn out what I wanted it to be.
What do you want it to be?
I want him to be my dad. I don't know. I've had his name for years, and I just hate for it to just hate to live with that. But I just gotta live with it and move on.
Mr. Browning, I can see that makes you emotional here.
Yes, Your Honor, I hate to see her in that state, but it's for her best.
I understand. But regardless of the biology and the paternity, you have been there for Tiffany and you love her like a daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you hear that, Tiffany?
Yes.
I'm ready to go to the results. Are you ready to hear them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Alexis, I know you say you are here for your father and your sister, but if you would like to stand with your sister, because ultimately this is about her paternity.
Yes.
You are welcome to go stand with your sister.
Thank you so much.
Stand together.
Amen, Mommy.
Maybe we all need to stand together.
Yes, I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do you want to take a seat, Miss Browning? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Have a seat.
Okay.
Yep. Jerome, make sure she gets up there, okay?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. Browning,
Yes, Your Honor.
if you would like to stand with your girls
I'm okay.
as I read these results, you are welcome to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please.
Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Browning versus Browning, when it comes to 25-year-old Tiffany Browning, It has been determined by this court. Mr. Browning, you are not the father.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Nothing's changed, Tiffany.
Well, you gonna be okay.
Have a seat, honey. Just
He
take a
loves
seat. It's
you.
gonna be all right.
He loves you. He loves you. Will,
Have a seat here.
he loves you. He loves you. He loves you.
You're gonna make it. And you'll be a better person to other people.
Tiffany,
Strong.
this is something you've been living with and dealing with for so long, since you were 12 years old. Half of your life with this question. And today we got it answered. It wasn't the answer you wanted, but at least you know for certain. And another thing you know for certain is you have people who love you. You're surrounded by people who love you.
You're not going through this alone. When we leave here, we leave the same way we came, as family.